And our final category, Undead. The highlighted matchup for this one is Dawn of the Dead versus World War Z. Thoughts on that?
I'm pausing for all of the eye rolling that's going on right now.
Eye rolling on your part or our audience's?
The audience is watching this going, what do you have to say about this matchup? This is a walk for Dawn of the Dead. This is one of those, I don't know that World War Z will get more than a vote. I mean, if that. World War Z has a cool shot of all the zombies stacking up on each other to get over the wall, and that's it. The entire third act of this film was mired in production issues. You can read all about the shifting producers and directors and just a hassle to get this film made. I'm not a big fan of the fast zombie either. A fast zombie isn't a zombie. It's called a ghoul. If it's undead, eats human flesh, and is fast, it's a ghoul. A slow one is a zombie, and it relies on numbers. Dawn of the Dead, the original, is an indictment of consumer culture because of the mindless shopping that goes on and the staking out of material goods as ours versus yours. There's an audience member who said nothing beats Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead's a walk all the way to the final, and I think he's got a point. I am going to say, because I think against World War Z is a foregone conclusion, but I'd like to look to the second round on this one, because it's opposing the winner of Shaun of the Dead and Dead Alive.
Now, two excellent films.
Please, expound.
Well, Shaun of the Dead, of course, is the ultimate horror parody movie. But it's beyond that, though, of course, because not only is it funny, but it's also scary as well. They did an amazing job on that one. And Dead Alive, well, that was that not one of Peter Jackson's early works?
I believe you are correct. It is a New Zealand film early in Peter Jackson's career. And so you've got an early, I believe Shaun of the Dead is an early Edgar Wright film, isn't it?
If not the first, or certainly the one that brought him the most attention, that's for sure.
So you're talking about an early Edgar Wright versus an early Peter Jackson, and that's where the competition's going to come down. I think Shaun of the Dead edges Dead Alive, but that one's a way more interesting matchup than this one, because Dawn gets by in a walk. Now, if Shaun of the Dead beats Dead Alive, you get Dawn of the Dead versus Shaun of the Dead.
The Dawn of the Dead bracket.
I want to see that. And I think Dawn of the Dead might have trouble getting past Shaun of the Dead.
Interesting.
Oddly enough. It's a neck and neck contest.
Shaun of the Dead is a great film in its own right, that's for sure. It quickly became a cult classic, but of course Dawn of the Dead is one of the ultimate cult classics.
But World War Z, I would have swapped it for Hellraiser and put World War Z in the play-in match versus Sleepy Hollow, because Hellraiser is a superior film to World War Z.
Again, that selection committee clearly on crack.
Crack team.
It's a crack team, for sure.
Crack.
Well, those are our highlighted brackets that we were going to discuss. So no more graphics at this point, but are there any other angles or interesting matchups that you think you wanted to take a look at real quick?
Just real quick, I guess these are somewhat closing thoughts. Stephen King is represented by, I believe it's 3 different films.
Absolutely. I think it's It, Carrie, and The Shining, of course.
Now, I expect The Shining to have a deep run in the competition. Sure. Carrie is probably going to leave early. If it doesn't gain a more sentimental vote. But The Shining, despite King's loathing of the film, which he said was redeemed by Dr. Sleep.
Which is an interesting thing to say because, if we compare those two films, nothing against Dr. Sleep, but I mean, The Shining is an icon, of course.
Yes, King said when he watched Dr. Sleep, he became retroactively okay with Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. So that's a whole lot of interestingness. There's so much mythology around The Shining. The Shining, I mentioned earlier that you say horror, and Halloween is one of the top 5 on people's lips. You say horror, The Shining is also in that conversation. So I expect The Shining to run up against The Exorcist at the finals of that bracket.
Oh, that'll be an excellent. That would be the in the round of the final 8, actually. I guess those two go up against each other. That's 2 titans going up against each other.
The other one I'd be looking for is Hitchcock's representation. He's got 2 films in the bracket, both The Birds and Psycho, if I remember correctly.
You are absolutely correct, Ophidian.
I don't think The Birds can stand up to Alien as a horror film, so I would expect The Birds to leave. But Psycho is one of those top 5 on your lips horror films when you name the genre. So my prediction for the whole thing is for Psycho and The Exorcist to meet in the finals, with The Exorcist taking the top spot.
Interesting call. Interesting call. That would be that Psycho, which is not the number 1 seed. That's the controversial Silence of the Lambs number 1 seed. It would go through that, both Silence of the Lambs and Halloween potentially. But considering how classic Psycho is, it could certainly be possible.
And I think some people are going to go with Psycho because of the Hitchcock representation and because of the fact that Hitchcock never won an Oscar for Best Director. So if Hitchcock was denied his Best Director Oscar, the least we can do is give him one of the top spots in our internet Facebook group, Horror Movie Celebrate October Pandemic Bracket.
Absolutely, absolutely. This could be his redemption right here. I think that, we're the group to do it for sure. All right, Ophidian. Well, we appreciate all the expertise you brought to the table, your crack analysis. That's my word of the day, of course. And we hope that all of our audience out there will have a bloody good time participating in the Horror Movie Mania Madness Tournament, coming soon to a Facebook group near you. This is Vic Casserole signing off on behalf of myself and Ophidian Riley.
Good day. Good night.